welcome back to my channel. This is a space where I talk about everyday life, random thoughts, small struggles, and things we all feel but don't always say out loud. If you've ever overthought at 2 a.m. like me, because I do night shifts and I come home late, uh, it's just that whenever a day starts for someone, I end my day. That's how things work. So at times we have a questioning session that comes when it comes to life and all, even when you are doing nothing. So this is the place for you. And thank you so much. I am glad that you're here. So thank you for tuning in. And for today, I would love to share something very close to my heart. My journey as a Northeastern girl from Manipur in the corporate world of mainland India. And before you ask, yes, I am Indian. No, I am not from China. And no, I do not need a passport to work in like Gurgaon, Mohali, or anywhere that you find in the country that we are living, that is India, right? Um, so first of all, my first day in office felt like I landed on a different planet, just because of the reason that when I first moved out of my hometown, um, I was in Noida for my bachelor's, and after that I came to Chandigarh for my master's. And during the time, I had a certain realization, and I feel like that is something that I needed to do, which is getting an experience in corporate world. Uh, I was somehow hasty in a way to dive into this world because of the experience that I had when I was um, attending my classes for my bachelor's during COVID days. I believe that most of us have felt like what is going on with our life. Where is it taking for us? What is the thing that really like drives you in a way that okay, I am excited about my life? That is what I felt during COVID days, and that is the reason why once I get a hold of this master's, um, like enrollment, I feel like I have to get started with a job, and that is how I landed my first job. And I have been continuing with this job for now like 3 years. So whenever I came for an interview, I came for an interview to my office. It's just that I feel like you just have to smile. You shouldn't look confused, and you just have to pretend you know what KPI means. That is the one thing that always had me going on and on inside my head. And when the HR asks, so where are you from? And I say Manipur. And they will just ask me these questions that, okay, oh, that's very far. And I always had that one response, very far. Ma'am, an alarm clock wakes up at the same time as yours. That is one thing that I always used to like strike up whenever we have these questions that comes to my mind with a smirk in my face, right? So within the first week, I collected frequently asked questions um, like you speak Hindi so well, thank you, and I would just reply, thank you, I learned it in India. Um, Another common question that I usually get is, do you eat momos every day? And I would just reply, no. Sometimes we eat rice like real adults and all, right? And last but not the least, which is one of the question that comes like upon us just because of one crisis that we have been ongoing for quite some time now in Manipur is Manipur safe? And I would just like reply with one thing that, sir, I survive corporate politics. Manipur is peaceful compared to this. So that is one of the response that I always used to give. So what I have realized is that in corporate life, people say things like, uh, let's take this offline, or like whenever we are talking about offline, we ask this question like, where do we have to take this conversation, right? We'll just go to this smoking area or tea stall, or just like a spiritual retreat in a way, right? So these are the things that has come to my mind whenever when I started off with my job. So when it comes to like culture that we have, I feel like the breaks that we get is something that uh, that's where a true clash starts. Because whenever I have a lunch box or something, I always have rice, vegetables, and for sure I do not take fermented food with me, because I'm not sure why I did not take it, but maybe because I feel like I do not want to answer any unwanted questions, especially when you are trying to enjoy your food. That is one thing that comes to my mind. And however, if you know how to respect others' culture and food that we eat, then you have to understand that that is a heritage, and you have to respect that, right? Because in some way, just because of the difference in the food that we eat, that we have, there could arise a lot of questions. And in some way you do not want those questions to be present on the table, because you are trying to enjoy your break. You are trying to utilize those times, just because you work really hard on the deliverables that you have to complete and all, right? So that is one thing that that comes to my mind whenever we talk about all this. So, and as we all know, if you have encountered or any concern relating to identity crisis and all, especially when you, if you are a northeastern, especially if you're someone from northeast states, I believe we can all relate to this. And if you're someone who are from the mainland India, uh, you must have encountered or have been acquainted with a friend or with a colleague where they look we look different from each other. And that's how things work when it comes to all this geographical reason where we grew up, right? So let me share one of the experience that I had. It's just that uh one day someone said, you don't look Indian. I just smiled and said, you don't look uneducated, but here we are. Because at some point you feel so tired of just saying one very known answer, which is like, I'm also an Indian. I'm not part of, I feel like I do not come into the category where you always say that, okay, do not call me Chinese, do not call me Momo or whatever that we have, I am an Indian. No, I do not come under that category. I'm someone who will just smirk, and I will throw something to make them understand in their own way. I'm also someone who believes in the fact that if you throw insults at someone, just be ready of the insult back to you. It cannot be in a way that you are trying to um, like sweet hole uh, when it comes to what actually happens, and you know how the other person will feel, and you feel like the other person will not do anything in regards to that. That is something that I normally do not tolerate. So that is the reason why. So I feel like whenever this type of identity crisis or the question that comes to us, I feel like that is the day when you realize that being from Manipur or any northern states in corporate India means representing a whole region without signing up for it. This is what I've always felt. And every time you show up on time, work hard, speak confidently, you are changing uh, perceptions silently. Because in some way, and this is something without having to say it out loud, um, I feel like whenever you are in a place where you have to stay alone, you are carrying an identity of yourself, you are carrying an identity of the whole uh, like place that you grew up, right? So I feel like corporate life didn't change me who I am, it revealed who I already was. Because from where I grew up, which is Manipur, I feel like I have instilled myself um, all this discipline, respect, and resilience because um, from what I have learned from this corporate life, I have this quite a good understanding about how to speak up, how to negotiate, and how to survive useless meetings in a way. So, yes, I am a Northeastern girl from Manipur in the corporate world. I may look different, I may sound different, but trust me, I deliver before deadline and leave on time. And that I believe, my friends, is the real corporate flex because you just have to complete what has been asked for, right? So that is something that you need to keep a check on. uh, and I do feel like whenever you are in a place where you feel you are just surviving alone, you have to be the duck gliding above the water, even though underneath you are paddling like crazy. I know that there are times that you cannot just make a facade about yourself that I know everything what I'm doing. I'm confident in whatever like I know whatever I feel and all. As a human being, it's not feasible always. So sometimes you have to be that person who just fake it till you make it. There were a lot of um, situations where my one of my teammate or colleague will just uh, pause something, a comment, and without having to even like for them to think about that this statement could trigger the other person. And believe me, as a human being, um the other one person can just pass a comment at that moment without having to even think about the fact that the the words are being repeated in the other person's mind. So you have to be very mindful of what you speak, what you say to the other person, because if you're doing it intentionally, or even or if you continue doing it even when you understand that the other person is not liking it, then you are being that person who is a douchebag, I would say. So that is the reason why it's very important for us, especially when you come from a place where um where you look different, your culture is different, your tradition is different. The certain group of people, they think that they can say whatever they want that comes to their mind without having to realize that the other person is also living a whole different life than them. But at the end of the day, it's who they are, who we are, and we are all here in this world living the same life, but in their own way as a human being. So that is the reason why it's very disheartening sometimes. But I could just say that any northeastern girls here, or anyone who move cities and feel like an alien in office, uh like just come in your experiences and let's laugh together. So that is what I have to share about myself, what I feel. Maybe in future I will share a lot of things that I have encountered encountered in office. A lot of experiences. I do have a lot of stories to share with you guys. Until then, thank you so much for tuning in and see you in the next episode. Bye.